Hi, Orange Girl here with another scrapbooking process video for you. I am working with a bunch of ShimmerZ Paints today, and as part of their design team, if you want to go ahead and mention my name in the comments, you can earn a little mini surprise freebie for yourself that will come out in when you order from them. Also, I'm working with Flair from a Flair for Buttons. I used 3 different pieces of Flair on this layout. All of the information for all of these products will be linked below in the comment section of the video. So what I am doing here is I'm getting my paints ready. I have already kind of soaked them a little bit. All of these paints you have to activate with some water before you use them. So this layout came to be, this background anyway, because I had been trying some just different techniques on watercolor paper, just kind of as some art therapy. Some of you may have seen a photograph of me playing with the paints, not me, but the paints, and anyway, on Instagram, and I just made a bunch of circles, and I really liked it, and decided that I could totally make a layout using that background. But I had used watercolor paper and it wasn't the right size for a layout, for me anyway. And so I decided I would just go ahead and kind of recreate it. Not exactly, but using the same colors because I really enjoyed the colors. So what I'm doing here, the technique that I was practicing that day, and then what I'm doing here is basically you put water, plain water, down on your paper and in a circle, and then you add the pigment or the actual watercolor right to the water, and that's already on your page, and the watercolor just kind of fills in that circle or fills in that area, and doesn't really go outside of the water line so much. And so that was kind of what I was doing, and then that's the main technique. But then the other piece of it is I went ahead and some of the colors I would blend together, so you can kind of see how that pink color and that blue color, I blended those together. And you can see as I'm going, once I make the circles, I actually will take my brush and push some of the color into the color next to it. Some of it just happens naturally, and some of them I make happen. And I'm not doing it with every circle, but I am doing it with some of them along the way. You want to be careful when you do this so that you're choosing colors that will blend together nicely. So colors that are right next to each other on the color wheel tend to do that. Also colors that are just the ones that you know will blend, like yellow and red make an orange color, and there we go. There, did you see how I just put a little bit of water connecting those two circles over there on the right, and it made some of that yellow go into the blue. Anyway, so yellow and blue make green. So some of those things that you probably learned in elementary school about how the colors can work together to make new colors, those are the colors you're really going to want to use to do some blending, if that makes sense. In a few minutes here, it will speed up. Actually, less than a few minutes. In a few seconds here, it's going to speed up, so you'll see the whole thing go really fast, and we'll get to the rest of the layout. The colors that I'm using here are all ShimmerZ products. The blue is called Blue Lagoon, and it's an Inklingz. The yellow is Daffodil. It's a Creameez. Also Creameez is just Peachy. It's an orange. And also Creameez is Berry Hot, and it's the red. And then probably my favorite color of all of these, and one of my new favorite colors that I'll probably use a lot, is Let Us Get Together, and that's also a Creameez product, and that's the green. So as I'm going along here, sometimes I am tipping my paper a little bit to help them run together, also because it is starting to warp just a little bit, and so that color is pooling in areas, and I don't necessarily, I do want that to happen some, but I want it to happen the way I want it to happen. So I'm moving the paper a little bit to cause those colors to blend a little bit more. The paper that I'm using is a basil not watercolor paper. It's called Marshmallow, and it's cardstock, and it is perfect for this because I don't have to use gesso or anything, and there's barely any warping or anything like that. So Now when I got finished making the circles, I went ahead and I added some splatters using the same colors of paint. And now I've gone through some of my different papers and I decided that I'm going to use basically pretty much all, I think, of Shimelle um, box of crayons, which is her most recent collection. The colors match perfectly, and since I've kind of got sort of a rainbow going on here a little bit, I thought I would go ahead and kind of stick with that idea. So what I'm doing here is I'm gluing it down to a background. I've cut the edges off so it's not, so I can have that border around the outside. And now I've got my photograph and I'm grabbing some paper from the 6x6 pad, and I'm trying to decide what I want to do to layer my photo while that's kind of glued down a little bit. So I ended up going away and coming back and coming back to it and letting that just dry a little bit better. So now I'm going through the 6x6 pad to try to find some more paper to layer behind that photo. This is the same basic paper as my border that I have going around. It's just a smaller version of it. And I'm going to use that as another layer behind my photo. A bigger layer because it's also going to house my title and my journaling. So this is a photograph of my daughter right after well, not right after actually. She had participated in her very first piano contest. And a few days after the piano contest, she found out, got the ribbon and found out that she earned a superior rating and did quite well. The judges were impressed, and so, or the judge was impressed, and so she got a certificate and a blue ribbon and some comments and different things from the judge. And so on this day, we went ahead and took a picture of her holding those because this is the day that she found out that how well the judge thought she did. So I've settled on these 3 pieces of Flair from the Flair for Buttons to use on my page, and then I'm going through some Spiegelbaum scrap sequins that I have in my stash and pulling out some of the same like colors and placing them on the circles that are the same color. So like I think I used green and maybe some yellow, or no, some red, that kind of pink red. And then I'm off camera because I'm looking for my enamel dots because I decided to add some enamel dots as well. I'm kind of going with all the circles. So I have flare circles, I have sequin circles, I have these circles here on my enamel dots. And then I find a few circle elements within the box of crayons collection that I end up using as well. And you'll see I use some enamel dots from the collection, and I'm trying to think what else. They're like really sparkly enamel dots. They're awesome. And then a couple other things from the sticker pack, I think. So I'm just kind of going through, I think I'm kind of done now with those, and now I'm going to determine my placement for my Flair, and I wanted to use some of these phrases because these phrases fit perfectly and they are in the same colors, and so I think I end up adding 3 different phrase strips. I kind of go back and forth a little bit at placement. And then at the top of the same sticker sheet, there are some lollipops. And I end up grabbing those lollipops out and cutting them so that it's just the top of the lollipop. It's just the circle. And I add those and pop them up off the page with some foam adhesive. So what you saw me doing there is I was just going through the folders of stickers that come with the Shimelle Box of Colors collection, and I haven't used this collection yet, and so it's been on my desk forever, but well, not forever, it's not been out that long, but it's been on my desk for a while, and I just haven't had a chance to use it lately. So I was kind of going through the folders to see what my options might be for title work and some other things. So I think this is going to be like the basic placement of everything now. I know I'm going to use the that paper, and I'm going to put my journaling on it, and then I'm going to use the Flair with the thread behind it. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking those popsicles and I'm popping them up and taking the stick off the popsicle and putting those around the page. And then I'm just kind of going through to see what else I can find that I like. Okay, so I took everything off, glued everything down, actually, is what I should say. I glued everything down, and then I stitched around the outside of the page, and then also around the outside of the green page. The green page that goes behind my photo, the layer there that I've already glued down. So I've glued down all of the sequins and some of the other elements, the other circle elements, and then now I just need to work on my title and my journaling and glue the rest of the stuff down, and I'm almost done. Oh, I found in these puffy stickers, I found a couple of circles that look like citrus, I would say, but they're circles and they're the right color, so I used those. I toyed with the idea of going off the circle route and starting to use a couple of other things, and then I decided, you know what, no, I'm just going to stick with some circles. So these are the sparkly enamel dots that I was telling you about. They're circles, stars, and hearts, and I stuck with the circles for all of these. And I add, I don't know, 5, 6 of those, I would say, to the page. And then for my journaling, I went ahead and I did that off camera. I just typed it up on my typewriter, and I'm going to add some journaling strips. And so in a few minutes, I'll come back and put those in. And my title work, I think I also did off camera. I started maybe on camera and then I go off camera. I don't know what I was doing there. I think I lost. Oh, I did. I lost. I lost one of my, when I went to do the stitching, I hadn't glued down all of my little elements yet, and so I lost that yellow one. But then I found it. It was just underneath my page. So for my title, I thought I was going to use some of the alphas from the Shimelle box of crayons collection. And so I grabbed that folder that has all of the elements in it, or not elements, alphabets in it, and I kind of go through there and even toy with using the multicolored one. And then I don't like it, and so I take it apart, and I just did that off camera. I went ahead and did my typing, my journaling off camera as well. I typed it up on my typewriter, and now I'm just cutting the strips apart, and then I'll work around them and place them. What I ended up doing for my title is pretty generic. It just says piano contest, and I think the pink letters are Webster's pages. It's pretty old, and then the piano, I can't even tell you. It's in with my thickers, but it might, I'm not sure what collection it came from, to be honest. But it is some white thickers from my stash. I decided, I ended up thinking white just worked really nicely, especially when I got all the journaling strips on there. I was really glad that I ended up going with white. And then I wrestled with this a little bit because I should have just started by gluing them down. But then I decided if I just move up my title a little bit, then I can get all of the journaling on the page. And all of my journaling really is just saying that it's her first contest and that she did really well, and that she got a superior rating. And then in one area she got a 1++, which is kind of a big deal. And I talk about her getting that and what area that was in, which is really the musical part, the dynamics and the phrasing and all of those sorts of things. And so I'm pretty much done. The close-ups are coming up here. I'm just kind of gluing down the last few elements that I hadn't glued down yet, like my flare and my photograph. And so thanks a lot for stopping by. I hope that you can see the gorgeous shimmers in the close-ups, because all of these, oh, I forgot, I kind of went in with my white pen and I drew on some of the circles. I just drew white just to give it another little element of texture, I guess. Changed it, looked a little bit different. You can see that in the close-ups. Anyway, I hope you can see all the shimmer in the shimmers. There's a lot of great glittery look, and it looks really cool with the Shimelle enamel dots that are all glittery too. And that's about it. So thanks a lot for stopping by. The close-ups are coming up. Let me know if you have any questions about anything I did or any products or anything like that, and I will do my best to answer them. Thanks a lot for stopping by. I will see you again soon in my next video.